Sean Payton, Bo Nix, and the Denver Broncos went out there again and clutched up late in the game against Houston Texans with Will Lutz hitting a game-winning field goal. However, they do only win the game 18-15. And considering that this is kind of how they've gotten to 7-2, you've got to ask whether or not this constant come-from-behind winning style is sustainable for the Denver Broncos. Hello, Broncos fans and NFL fans at large. Welcome to the Lumia Sports Podcast. If this is your first time watching us, check us out. If you go to the page, we have videos here. Shout out to everyone subscribing and liking videos. We love that. And if you go down to the playlist, we do this for every team every week. As you guys see, we are right now, since we're doing the Broncos, let's go to the playlist. By the way, side note, if you're watching this game after Thursday Night Football, we will have a video coming up on Monday. Just a lot to do. We want to get into trade talks, previews and everything like that, Broncos fans. So if you're watching this, this is in reference to their game against the Texans. And as you see, we got some other stuff leading historic comebacks, saying that they were going to look better against the Jags, and just other things that they would crush the hopeless Jets. They didn't quite do that. Jackson Dart, not the Jags, the Giants. I was like, what? And they did look better in that fourth quarter. So hopefully you guys enjoyed now, and hopefully you guys enjoy our playlist out here. Now, back to the vid. All right, let's take a look at where exactly the Broncos are as far as the standings go. Looking at this, they are right now currently the third seed, just behind the Patriots and the Colts. I'm trying to think, they did lose that game to the Colts. Leveraging penalty, that's tough. Or right now, they would at least be the 2 seed. And actually, they would be the 1 seed if you do that hypothetical of them being 8-1. So the Broncos right now at 7-2. Definitely a great start to the season. And one that when Sean Payton in the preseason said that he had 7 Super Bowl possible winning teams, this was 8th or something like that. You see that it's definitely merited, and we'll get into why that is. But right now, we just want to take a look at the AFC West, their division. This is where it's going to be very, very interesting for them. Now, they are playing the Chargers again, but they lost to the Chargers. The Chargers, as you see, if you look at that divisional record, the Chargers are 3-0. The Broncos are 0-1. They haven't played the Chiefs yet either, so it's going to get really interesting for the Broncos. One of the division mates that they are playing currently, though, they do still get the Raiders in this division, playing them right now, Thursday Night Football. Just saw they tied it up 7-7, so we will see how that game goes. I would assume that the Broncos win in close, ugly fashion. And let's check out how the Denver Broncos have gotten here this season. Starting in Week 1, I remember that game. That was Bo Nix, four interceptions, but they still beat the Titans. Who doesn't? Tough losses to the Colts and Chargers. I mean, you lose to the Colts by 1 point. You lose to the Chargers by 3, and that was the Joe Alt Chargers. So a completely different unit. And honestly, if you look at what they can do to them pass rush wise soon, that's going to be interesting. Beating the Bengals, coming from behind to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, that's huge. Again, the Jets, Giants, those wins don't look pretty, but they are wins. Smoke the Cowboys and you beat a Texans team that had been climbing, but that Texans team was missing CJ Stroud throughout most of the game. Playing the Raiders right now, you really need that win. And really, this schedule, Packers are so up and down, as are the Jags, and you get the Chiefs twice and the Chargers once. If you can just split with the Chiefs, get your split with the Chargers, which would mean beating them in Week 18. I mean, Green Bay, Jags, if you can, I'd say you should beat the Jags, and the Green Bay's all over the place. But let's say you even split that game, right? There's a possibility they end the season right now at 13-4. Now, the Chiefs are obviously the big thing, and if the Chiefs sweep you, that's a problem because now the division's at play. They would own that tiebreaker. Or if you were to lose in Week 18 to the Chargers, that could be with the division at play. And the reason that the division's so important is because you want that home field advantage that you get from being a top 4 seed. But I'm very interested right now with the Broncos, their pass rush. Focus with the Raiders tonight. Try to get a win, and then you get 4 extra days to prepare. Now, the Chiefs have a bye week right now, but that game next week is huge. I can say that, but hopefully they aren't looking ahead, because if they lose this Raiders game, all of that's for naught, and this could be a problem. But right now, looking good. All right, and in one of our most favorite segments, one that we just came up with, comment of the week. Now, I will cheat for the Broncos a little bit. No comment last week, but a couple of weeks ago, they've been long supporters. 4 weeks ago, in fact, a month ago. So I'll shout out a couple comments. Chris Gonzalez 4414 said that they got their Eli Manning way. That's an interesting one with Bo Nix, because I just had been so up and down on him. I noticed he missed some touchdowns against the Chargers, but I mean, when he clutched up against the Eagles, I don't know, man. What was I supposed to say? So I made an article saying he would be him. And what Dabolina 916 said, it's the pressure when the Broncos are up with that defense. Teams feel suffocated. I'm going to be honest. I think it's when teams are up or down against that defense. They just fly. They're number 1 in sacks with 4.4. I saw a stat on one of my shows that said they have the most sacks per game since the 87 Bears. That's insane. Like, they just scream constantly. Benito's doing it, but it's not just him. It's Cooper, and that defense is amazing. But I think this is right now going to be more about the offense, and can they continue to win the way that they win? Because it's honestly, you can look at it 2 ways. I'm not going to lie, Broncos fans and NFL fans, I don't blame you for looking at it either way. One way, if you're looking at it positive, is it's just another game where the Broncos come up clutch. Like we mentioned before, they've been trailing a lot in this situation throughout the season. They were down to the Eagles 17-3, came back and won that game by 4. They were down to the Jets 11-6 abroad, came back, won that game in London, ya blokes. They won that Giants game down 19-0 in the fourth quarter. Again, scoring that record 33 points in 1 quarter to come back and beat the Giants. They were down in this game to the Texans 15-7 in the third quarter, and they come back to win this one. So if you're looking at it that way, I mean, clearly Bo Nix is clutch. I don't think it's just that. I think that Sean Payton makes a lot of adjustments as the game goes on. But we got to look at the other side, too, as well. The Texans didn't have CJ Stroud. The Jets and Giants suck. Now, the Eagles, that's a good win to do that, because that's normally what the Eagles do to teams. And it does happen all the time, but we just got to put out those disclaimers. My bigger issue with the Broncos isn't that they clutch up. It's that their offensive, whether it's the scheme or how Bo Nix comes out playing, they never start off good, except for that Cowboys game. The first 2 drives against the Texans, they came out 0 for 3 and had 2 quick 3-and-outs. Now, again, we got to be fair on both sides. The Texans have the number 1 defense points per game allowed wise in the league, allowing 15 per game. So this is 2 really elite defenses going at it. However, Bo Nix, just a lot of inaccuracies in this game. I don't think that he was necessarily missing passes. I think the Texans defense was great. And honestly, we got to look more at Sean Payton's scheme at times, specifically early in these games, is very bad for someone who came up. And I remember Sean Payton popularized or was one of the people that popularized the script. So getting out on fire, like that's what you do all the film study for. Their script doesn't work in most occasions. And again, like 19 missed passes, that's a lot. And in this game, again, a 3-and-out coming out of halftime when they were down 15-7. They just some weird plays. 3rd and 1, they did a really long handoff to J.K. Dobbins. Not what you want. If you're not running a sneak on 3rd and 1 at this point, because everyone likes to blame the Eagles for doing it, and we do it in a different way with the tush-push, but we also have the best quarterback at doing it. But every team in the league, I saw Trevor Lawrence do it. Herbert did it. Like, running a QB sneak on 3rd and 1 is kind of part and parcel with what's happening. So either run it with your quarterback or find someone else to run that offense, because it's definitely necessary and needed. Funny, by the way, side note, I'm just randomly thinking about this. I used to play head coach 2008 all the time. Favorite play? 3rd and 1 QB sneak. I'm just ahead of my time, man. But no, it's just, I mean, that's what Tom Brady was doing, though. Now, what I will say, to tie the game, the wheel route that they had in the backfield to R.J. Harvey was just an amazing call. To know that you're going to see man, to get that set up and to hit that pass was huge. And Bo Nix just misses a bunch of passes all game, and then he'll hit the biggest pass of the game. And so he clutched up, right, 3rd and 11, the last drive, when it was 15-15, and then he had a huge clutch 15-yard run, again, against the number 1 defense in the league. They were missing their quarterback, but they got to 15 points. That's their average. The Broncos just did a little bit better than that average. I think that specifically this game, I'll take it a little easier because it is the Texans. But, I mean, we saw it against the Jets. We saw it against the Giants. They're great at adjusting. The Eagles, they only had 3 heading into the 4th quarter. They're great at adjusting late in the games, but you want to see them start off with just some sort of rhythm. Make it a little easier for Sean Payton. But the style that they play with is defense and run the football, and they do stick with those very well. So, interesting game. Again, they come from behind. You just got to wonder if they can continue to do that throughout the season against when they start playing, specifically the Chiefs. I think you need to start off with a little bit of pop in your offense. But defensively, yes, there was no CJ Stroud. But these guys just screamed 4 sacks again in this game. This game, normally it's Benito and Cooper. This time it was Zach Allen just coming up the middle. And Zach Allen, he's like their D tackle pass rusher, but he used to be a right end he's like a right end basically. He's a D tackle. I'll put it like that. He's a 3-4 right end, but the way they use him specifically is a lot at D tackle. He had 1 sack in this game, but he had 4 hits, and he was just all over causing problems. Hufanga was humongous in this game. I mean, he had 9 tackles, 2 deflections. He was flying around the entire game from start to finish. It was really impressive stuff from him. And it's just like, I know Mills isn't CJ Stroud, but I mean, the pass just had no chance. And right now, this is where the Broncos rank currently in league, 4th in points allowed, 7th in passing defense, 1st in sacks, just high watermarks in all these areas. I think they're 8th in stopping the run. They're not terrible at anything either. So, I mean, you got Surtain back there, obviously, when you get away from that D-line, and Hufanga flying around. It's a really impressive group defensively. I am, again, interested to see them. I'm going to watch the film, them versus the Raiders. The Raiders kind of picked it up a little bit against the Jags, but obviously I'm super excited to watch them against the Chiefs. I think that they have a very good team. Again, you just want to see the offense get it together, but that defense is for real. And if you have one of the best defensive units in the league and an all-time unit at getting to the quarterback, when your quarterback himself is clutch, that is definitely a recipe for something big. So I'm interested in seeing if the Broncos can continue kind of this momentum, fix up some of these things, but if they really can reach that potential that Sean Payton thought they had at the beginning of the year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please watch some of the other videos on the site. I've created a playlist with each and every football team, and every week we will be going over those games. I'm really loving this, enjoying it, and hoping you guys are as well. Of course, like, subscribe, and if anyone wants to sponsor, we're looking for Lumia Sports Productions is looking for sponsors. Shout us out. We will shout you out during the video. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy.